What is Jan-Piet's choice?
Jan-Piet's choice? Well, I'm Jan-Piet, and I say almost every week, this is my choice. But in fact, that I am Jan-Piet is not my choice, that was my mom's choice, I think. But what I do every week on Wednesday at 12 noon in Armadale, here at the Uniting Church, where we are now, that's called Jan-Piet's choice. And what exactly do I do? Well, I play music, often with somebody else, and I talk about it. And some people might say, well, that's like a lecture recital. And it's not, I think, because it's not like really I'm playing this piece, that piece, and that piece, and I say a little bit about when these pieces were written, or where the second theme starts, or what funny chord Bach uses, or something. I do all those things, but it's much freer, I think, in approach than a lecture recital would be. Usually a rather formal thing. In fact, very often, and you may think this is unprofessional, and that's fine if you think so, I often don't know what exactly I'm going to say about a piece of music we're playing. And or often ideas about what I might talk about with the audience come up in rehearsal on the morning before the event itself. So I very often perform with a student or a colleague, and we work in the morning on this piece, and while working on it I think, oh, maybe here's something interesting that I can talk about, or that. And how much do I say? It depends all on the moment and who is there and how it flows. Very, very often we play the piece of music a second time, and in the meantime we may have played bits and pieces of it many times. Because I'm very serious about, if I want to make something clear, to say it again and again with music example. And some of the greatest compliments I've had in my life are about Jan-Piet's choice. People saying, often there's a piece of music, or sometimes, that I don't like at all. But then you explain it a little bit, you say this or that about it, and suddenly I think it's maybe the best piece ever written in the world. I'm exaggerating, but it's a little bit that sort of experience that people seem to have. And I think that's basically what I want with it. I want, as it were, but I often say, I want to take a little kid into the museum, hold its hand, and say, look at this beautiful picture. Is that not wonderful? You see, look this and that. And yes, it's the kid. Now I can sort of understand that painting a little bit. And it's very beautiful. But if you don't do that, the kid might say, well, I don't know, it's just a painting. And I think very often we listen to music and we say, well, yeah, it's beautiful, but it's just a piece of music. And I try to bring the music a little bit more alive for people, I think. That's what I try to do.
How long have you been doing Jan-Piet's choice?
I've been doing it now for almost, exactly I think, a year and a half. I started with this in late June 2011. This was because at that time I was teaching at the university here in town, and I thought it was really important to connect the university music department with the local community, and to give students an opportunity to perform together with me. I believe in student performances. I believe even more when you teach performance in a university, for students to perform with their teachers. There's no better way, I think, of learning performance in music than perform with, as it were, a teacher, or maybe even with a real teacher. That makes performance problems real, and you learn then how to deal with those very real performance problems in reality. So that was one of the original ideas about it. Also, I wanted to show to the community what we could do in the university music department. After the university and I decided to part ways, or after we parted ways, let's put it that way, I decided I wanted to continue Jan-Piet's Choice, not only because of the students in the university who continued to work with me. I still very much consider them my students, and I want to continue working with them in the same way I had before. And also by now, it had been such an important part of my week. And important because I consider myself more than anything a teacher. So if this sounds schoolmasterish, well, that's completely correct. I am a bit of a schoolmaster, and I consider myself a teacher first and foremost. And this is my weekly moment where I teach for completely free to anybody who wants to hear it about something that I think is very cool, fantastic, and very important, namely beautiful music.
Why is it free?
Why is it free? Well, because we haven't worked out a way of making money with it. If somebody came and wanted to sponsor it, support us financially, we'd be very happy to accept, I think. I don't want to charge for it, partly because it would complicate things so much, but partly also because I think it's really important to do it, and I want people to hear it. And I didn't charge for it when I had a university salary, and I did not want losing my university salary being a reason to change things. I wanted to keep it the same. And so far, I have been able to continue that way. Sometimes we ate rice for a few weeks, but that's okay.
Did you do this kind of thing in US or anywhere else before?
That's the funny thing. I have played music and taught music on 3 different continents before. In Holland and in Germany and a bit of other countries in Europe, and then around New York City. Very intensively, at a high level also. Mostly university students in New York. And I have never done anything like this. Certainly not on a regular basis, but not really ever. And so I'm very, very grateful for Armadale and to an extent the university that have made this happen. Not that the university suggested it or encouraged it or whatever, but it made it possible because I had a university salary at the time. And the community here at the church welcomed the idea. And well, there are the Armadalians who come and hear me perform and talk about music every week, and that's been fantastic. For me, that has been incredibly worthwhile, and I can only hope it has been for the people who have been coming.
How do you choose the music each week?
Oh, usually too late. And sometimes not. Out of Jan-Piet's Choice have grown these festivals that we have been doing here in the community. We had a Beethoven festival in June, just recently a Brahms-Dvorak festival. We're now working on a French music festival in June 2013. And what happened when we did those festivals, we tried out items for the festival in Jan-Piet's Choice before. That was one way of selecting repertoire. Another way was students who had to perform a certain piece for some exam, and that I was working on with them. And I said, look, we'll try it out tomorrow in Jan-Piet's Choice. Tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow. Or next week we'll play this piece. Next week? Yeah, you have 7 days to work on it. Okay, good. Or we would perform with a few students or colleagues something at a church service here in Armadale, here at the United Church or at the Anglican Cathedral. And I said, look, why don't we try it out next Wednesday in Jan-Piet's Choice? Right, there's a student here and she can tell you if you want to know whether it's true or not, but I think that's all true what I'm saying, right? And if such a thing did not apply, then sometimes late on Tuesday, I think, oh, what am I going to play tomorrow? Maybe that piece. And I try a little bit, say, yeah, maybe that's a good idea. And then in the morning I would wake up and I think, no, I don't want to play that at all. I want to play something different. And then I would take a book to the church and I would come here at 10 o'clock and I'd say to myself, oh, actually I don't want to play that piece at all. I want to play something completely different. So all that has happened. Almost any scenario applies. But it's certainly, and I try to avoid doubles. Very few pieces or very few movements of pieces I have played twice ever in Jan-Piet's Choice. I mean, we have had something like 60 or 70 of them by now, I think. And there have been almost no doubles. Which, when you think about it, should be very easy because there's so much music. On the other hand, it means we have played all that music 60, 70 times 5 or 10 minutes or 2 minutes.
Now you have viewers from all over the world.
Gosh, I don't know, do I?
Yes, you do. Would you like to say something to those viewers?
Well, I say ni hao to the Chinese people, and halli hallo to the Germans, and bonjour to the viewers in France and Canada, and hi to all my American friends, and goedenavond, goedemiddag, goedemorgen to the colleagues in the Netherlands who are watching. Other than that, I don't know. One viewer, in fact, from Germany, a while ago, wrote me out of the blue an email, and she's a very fine colleague and musician colleague, whom I used to play with a lot, many years ago. She's not old at all, but I'm quite old. So many years ago, we performed together a lot. And out of the blue, she sent me this very, very lovely email. So, if anybody sees this who knew me many years ago, by all means send me an email, let me know what you think, what you're doing, and you can easily find me on my website. But you don't have to. I'm grateful to everybody who watches, and if people like it, so much better. If they don't like it, don't watch again.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.